G'day mates, Steve Irwin, Crocodile Hunter here, and I'm on a bit of a cryptozoology adventure. You know, cryptozoology, kind of like Bigfoot and Sasquatch and all that stuff that might be made up, but it might not be made up. But there's a local legend here in Australia about a man-shaped croc, and I'm on the hunt for it, because I'm the Crocodile Hunter, and I'm Steve Irwin, and they have one. I want to bring it to my zoo for actual zoological study. So, what's that sound? Look over there, mates. Isn't he a beaut? How do you know it's a he, Steve? Well, he's dressed like a man, so it must be a he. Otherwise he'd be wearing girl clothes, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll go ask him, but maybe I won't. So, he's over there. Look at him. What a beaut. He's minding his own business. So I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go over there and piss him off. So, g'day mates, and I'll see you later. Hello, Mr. Crocodile.
Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Surprise Thursday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Maestro Union, FuRay Planet, Crocker, Wilderness Hunter. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And here on the top, we've got the FuRay Planet. And then, you know, it's a nice little logo there, and it's, you know, TM, so don't use it. Ages 16 and up, nice big window showcasing the figure and some of the accessories. And, well, not all the figures, some of the figure. And then Maestro Union down here in their logo. Crocker, Wilderness Hunter, and nice artwork of the figure. On this side, a bit of a window here. Maestro Union, the FuRay Planet. And then on the opposite side, Crocker, Wilderness Hunter. And looks like maybe nice practical photography with some drawn on chains. Wilderness Hunter, Maestro Union, and it's MU-FP001 because it's the first in the FuRay Planet. On the bottom, it's upside down, so let's flip it over. So, sculpting and paint, that guy, comic book cover, illustration, comic book, story and packaging, all that stuff. Small, fine, legalese print, made in China print. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. A barcode, a QR code. You can scan QR code for official website. Maestro.union on Facebook and Maestro.union on Instagram as well. On the back, comic book included. And then looks like some nice practical photography here and here as well. Transform between two styles, dressed and mostly dressed. Well, dressed and mostly dressed. I don't know. Anyway, there it is. And then here are the accessories. Replace, replace, and replace. Awesome. And then all kinds of little gizmos there. That, my friends, does it. For a look at the packaging, I have to tell you, this is pretty darn heavy. let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And first up, we'll start with some big accessories. Well, all these accessories are kind of big, so first up, we have this kind of neck piece. He doesn't have, you know, right behind the head, between the head and the shoulders, there's no articulation point for the head to move left and right. So instead he comes with these big pieces that you have to pull the other piece out and plug these in. And, you know, it does have nice molded details and some nice paint and some nice wash going on there. And it's very scaly and crocodilian looking. There's two of those. One looks left, one looks right. Or one turns left, one turns right. Other than that, they're pretty much the same piece. And you can see here's where, you know, it all plugs in. So he also comes with 2 extra sets of hands. So again, nice wash, nice mold, nice paint. Sculpted detail is pretty good. The wash is really good as well. And so I like this. It's like a pointing finger. So he comes with a left one and a right one for that. Other than that, they're exactly the same. So then he has kind of like reach out to grab you, or maybe clawing hands. And again, that same level of sculpted detail and paint wash on here as well. And looks really, really good. And again, there's 2 of those. One's a left, one's a right. Other than that, they are the same. So you can see that one's marked left. So next up here we have his holster for his shotgun, and we'll get to that in a minute. So, you know, it's actually got some straps on here, and it's got a buckle on here. You feed this strap through it, and you can tighten it, cinch it up. But it's got some nice paint apps on here. I'm guessing that it's molding this like dark brown plastic, and then it's got a wash on it to kind of give it a weathered look, and it does that. So that's really, really good. So next up, we have these big cuffs, and they don't open up. If you're going to put them on Crocker, you have to pull his hands off and then slide them on, put the hands back on. And you notice it's got some real chain here, and it's got a big round link here at the middle, which you can use pliers to open up and link these together if you want, or you can leave them separated. But like I said, they have some real chain on them. Nice molded detail and nice paint wash on there as well. And then the chain, and then, you know, they're pretty much both the same except for the length of the chain on them. That's it. So here is the sheath for his knife, and we'll get to that in a minute as well. And just like the holster for the shotgun, you know, it's molded in like this dark brown plastic, and then it's got this paint and wash and stuff on it. The buckles are painted. These laces look like they might be painted. And then it's got this little hook here, and what that hook is for is to hang the chain like he's a bounty hunter, and he's gonna lock, you know, going after somebody like Lee Majors in the Fall Guy. So he's got a spot there for his handcuffs to hang. Although the efficacy of it is, you know, can be good, can be bad. It's got a post here. He's got a port in his back, lower back, so that he can, you know, you can post that in there. And then here's the knife. And dang, what a knife. For most people, this would be a sword. So it's silver paint app for the blade, and then it's got some weathering on it. And same for the blade, I mean the handle. It's nice molded details, and it's got some weathering details on it. I don't know, it feels a little weird. And it's not really a textural thing. So there you can see that's how that looks. Very weathered, very used looking. Next up we have his Humongo shotgun, and the same thing applies. You know, it's got weathering all over it. Unfortunately, the pump there doesn't work. That would be cool. It's got some big ol' openings in the barrels. This really isn't a barrel though, is it? Maybe it's a grenade launcher. I don't know. But unfortunately, it didn't come with any blast effects for it, so that's neat. So weathering, you know, paint apps. It's got paint apps all over it as well. These rivets, the barrel, and the pump. This piece, and then it's just got that weathering all over it. The last accessory we're going to take a look at is his hat. And it's got this real cord on it, and it's tied. And right here, you'll notice it has a magnet, and that's to help keep it on his head. He has the opposite piece of this magnet in his head so that the hat will stay on. And I'm fixing to put it up and not really take a look at it. So you notice it's got a paint app around the brim. Not the brim, the rim. Whatever that piece is. And then it's got some nice weathering like it's an old leather hat. So, very nice looking piece. Now let's take a look at Crocker himself. So, I mean, that is the most crocodile looking crocodile head I have ever seen on a toy that I can remember. Maybe G.I. Joe Classified series, but the paint on it wasn't that good. So look at the eyes. I mean, the sculpt and the wash on there. Those eyes really stand out. They're creepy. Look at all the teeth in there, and it does open up, and there's paint apps and washes and all kinds of stuff going on in that gullet. And you know, here he's got this overlay here. It's got a lot of washes and weathering and stuff on it, along with like paint apps like these buttons and these buttons. And then, you know, it's ripped down the back and just all kinds of stuff to help the details stand out. And you know, that even goes down in the arms. Just look at that incredible sculpt there, and that wash does nothing but help it look even better. And the pants, there's a lot of sculpted detail texturally, and you know, it's wash going on in there. Paint app here for the belts, buckle, and the belt itself. So look at those loops on the belt, have some paint on them, and that paint app goes all the way around for the belt. And then the tail, just the same as, you know, the skin is super detailed, and that wash just, it really brings it out and gives it that crocodilian look. And then for the lower parts of the legs, same holds true there as well. So look at that. Even on the bottom of the feet, they didn't have to do that, but they did. So overall, I mean, this is really an incredibly detailed sculpt, and I really like that. So let's move on and talk about his articulation a bit. So he looks up maybe that far, down not really much, and that's where a joint here would have really come in handy. Like I mentioned before, you know, the jaw does open up. It opens up that wide. The teeth, kind of be careful with that. They're not really sharp, but you know, they can get you. At the arm, with a little bit of outswing because of this overlay, which can come off, by the way. You know, he does get a 360-degree rotation. Does he have a butterfly? No butterfly in there. And he can, let's see, he can raise his arm up that high, so not the greatest. Cut here at the upper bicep for a full 360 degree rotation. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow for a full 360 degree rotation, and it gives you, there we go, gives you that much bend. So it's right about 90, close to 90. And then, wow, he's rolling off. Come back here, you. Then 360 degree rotation at the wrist, and there's no hinge there. There's like a dumbbell in here, so the hand can kind of rotate. You know, it can move all over the place. And these hands are trigger finger hands, by the way. So then, where the chest and the abdomen meet, there's like a dumbbell in there, and let's see, does it give you any rotation? Not really. It will twist a little bit, but it does not go very far. And then he has a cut here at the waist, and I think that's on, yeah, it's on a half dumbbell or ball joint, whatever you want to call it, and it will rotate there 360 degrees. Now in conjunction, those two, give him a little lean this way and a little lean this way, and he can go back a little bit, and he can go forward a little bit, and then his tail falls off. So there's that. Let's see, where are we? At the hips, they're on dumbbells, but because of the sculpt, it looks like, and the cuts aren't very deep in there, he can, you know, he doesn't really do the splits. And there's a little bit of rotation there, right there at the hip joint, but not much. Now at the knee, it's a single hinge and swivel. Swivels around 360 degrees, and it gives you that much bend, which is right at 90 degrees. The foot here is on some kind of hinge, yeah, post and hinge, I think. So, you know, at the ankle, it kind of tilts down that far. It's not really the ankle, is it? So it pretty much goes flat, but it does have a little bit of rocker in there as well, but the sculpt kind of holds that up. Now at the tail, it's on a half dumbbell here, and well, as you can see there. And even though it's segmented and jointed, there's not a lot of movement to it. It right there, it moves a little bit. Right there, it moves a little bit, and then right there, it moves a little bit. And I erroneously thought that like the end of the tail here was like a bendy piece, but it's not. It stays like that. So the way that his stuff stores, you know, you put the shotgun holster across his back, and I might have put it upside down. I did. Not that in the long run it really matters. So, and then you feed this strap through the plastic clip, and it is a plastic clip. It's not a metal clip, but it is pretty robust. So, unless you're just being super abusive to it, it should be fine. So, got that, and then I put it too far to get the other end of the strap through it. So why am I struggling with that? That's what handy dandy tweezers are for, my friends. So there you use your handy dandy tweezers to pull that through, and then you just cinch that up. That's however you want it. And so that's on there. And then here's his gun. He can either hold it in his hand, or you can put it in the holster there. Then here's that post I was talking about for the knife. And the knife just kind of goes right on in there. And I guess you could probably do it either way. Yeah, so either way for the knife, it'll go either way. And then you just post this in that port. It doesn't stay super well, so just something to be aware of. Storage for the shackles. Of course, like I mentioned before, this hook. If I can bring the hook again. There. Got that one on. And got that one on. And you don't have to use the last link like I'm using. You can choke it up a little bit. Not the easiest thing to do. Maybe I should have used the tweezers again. And this hook isn't the strongest either. I don't really care for that. So the shackles will drag the ground if you don't cinch the chain up a little bit. And then of course it falls off when you try to put the knife in. No storage for the extra hands. And then as far as the hat goes, I think on all the pictures and stuff, they show it this way, but I don't really like that because it hides the eyes and it puts this loop too far forward, in my opinion. Your mileage, of course, may vary. I think it looks much better like this, but again, that's my opinion. Your mileage may vary. So there you have it, my friends. So look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have Maestro Union's The FuRay Planet Crocker Wilderness Hunter from the Four Horsemen Studios Figura Obscura line, Sun Wukong the Monkey King from X-Ray Studios Combatants Fight for Glory line, Fails, and from the Marvel Legends series, Ursa Major Build-A-Figure Wave, Ursa Major the Build-A-Figure. For our last set of comparisons, here we have Maestro Union's The FuRay Planet Crocker Wilderness Hunter, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Maestro Union, the FuRay Planet Crocker Wilderness Hunter, I have to say, for me personally, this guy's a little bit of a mixed bag. Now, he comes with great accessories. I really love the accessories. Everything works really, really well, except for the neck swap pieces and the fact that you have to swap out neck pieces to get him to look left or right. I really don't like that, and that's just me. Your mileage, of course, may vary, but I don't really like those pieces. I really wish there was an extra piece of articulation in there, maybe covered with an overlay, and I think that would have worked a lot better. The tail does have articulation segments in it, however there's not much range in it. It's not much range in the legs, and the arms work okay. There's a decent amount of range of movement in the arms. And, you know, the sculpt is fantastic. The paint is fantastic. And, you know, magnets. Who doesn't love magnets? I love the fact that his hat is held on by a magnet. So that's really good. The mouth opens up to give him, you know, he can be rah, or trying to bite somebody, or whatever the case may be. And other than that, I don't really know what to tell you. That's the ins and outs of it, at least my opinion of it. And I originally was not gonna get this guy. He was on a decent sale at Big Bad Toy Store, and I decided to, you know, give it a try. And, you know, you roll the dice. Sometimes you get a good figure, and sometimes you get a mediocre figure. And again, the sculpt and paint and everything, accessories are great. The range of movement, however, is sad. For what this figure costs, he should move every which way but loose. And, you know, is it a large figure? It is a large figure. Is it imposing looking? It is imposing looking. If, you know, he's standing there holding a knife or a gun or shackles or whatever, but like making him run or anything like that is pretty much impossible with the range of motion on this guy. So I really don't see much I can do with this guy other than he's going to stand on the shelf and look imposing. And as far as which shelf, I have yet to decide where I'm going to put him. He wouldn't really fit in with Mythic Legions or Masters of the Universe because of the jeans. Now, like, the top overlay can come off, and that's not a big deal. But then he's wearing jeans, so I don't have a Ninja Turtles display, so he can't stand in for Leatherhead. And maybe Killer Croc. He could stand in for Killer Croc with my Mafex Batman. But I really don't know yet. So, am I a little disappointed in this one? Yes, I am a little disappointed in this one. Like I said, though, you know, sometimes you roll the dice, and sometimes you score big, and sometimes you end up with a mediocre alligator crocodile man. So, but again, you know, it does look fantastic. So, it's, I guess, instead of an action figure, really what you would call this is a slightly articulated statue, maybe. So, but there it is, my friends. I've given you the information. I've showed you about this guy. Make up your own mind whether this is worth it for you or not. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I kinda enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.